Good morning to all of our good friends out there through Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We appreciate you joining us this morning and today as we're celebrating back to school in a number of sessions. We have 5 sessions today, which is fantastic. We were joined super early this morning by Tammy down there in Florida, and just a great Canvas global navigation view. And in this session, we are going to dive into course basics, demonstrating the power of Canvas. In this session, my good friend, Don Larcy. I'm so excited to have you, Don. How are you, buddy? It's always good to see you.
No, I am fantastic. I'm so excited to be here to share some love, some Canvas love, some back to school love. So I'm very excited, ready to get going.
Now, those of you that don't know Don is the Canvas administrator for Iredell Statesville Schools. I did say that correctly this time.
Oh, almost got it right. It's
Iredell.
Iredell.
Sorry.
That's right.
Iredell Statesville Schools. It is the 18th. I did some research.
Yes.
The 18th largest public school district in North Carolina. About 20,000 students, which is no small order. So super excited to see what Don, obviously, has lots of experience, lots of different grade levels to discuss Canvas course basics. And thank you for joining us. If you have some folks that aren't joining us, share, like, subscribe, retweet, do all of the things that will allow them to see this session. If you can't join us live, no problem. We do record these immediately afterwards. You'll be able to see them, leave comments and questions in the sections there on each individual channel. Don, my good friend, take it away. Canvas course basics.
All right, I'm so excited. So I hope everybody's got their seatbelt on. This is going to be a really, really quick. We got so many tips and so many tricks for leveraging Canvas for student learning to get your basics on. And so I'm going to kind of run through these following tips using your a sandbox or a master course, importing, migrating content. We're going to be looking at adding personality and theme to your dashboard. Creating and inviting a functional homepage, building content in modules. One of the greatest tools in Canvas, of course, is its modular structure. We're going to be looking at Canvas Tool Fest. We're going to get some smackdown when it comes to looking at all of the great tools that we have available for you as a teacher to increase and improve your productivity, but also to leverage learning for your students. We're going to leverage the commons. We're going to economize your course menu. Very important. We're going to run the link validator. Oh my gosh, I get excited just saying that. If you have never used the link validator, we're going to talk about that today to kind of get rid of all those pesky broken links. But we're also going to show some love for some of the brilliant checklists that Canvas has produced, some of their instructional design team and so forth. And then I want to share some other tips not covered by these main. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is, man, how to build out your sandbox. One of the things that I really encourage our teachers to do is we call them our master courses. So when these courses come over from our student information system, when they're created live with live students, they come over as an empty shell. But what happens at the end of the term or the end of the semester, end of the year, those courses are archived in a sense. They move into past enrollments. They're no longer editable. So one of the strategies that I give my teachers is to create what we call master courses. So if they have 3 preps, English 1, English 2, English 3, or Math 1, Math 2, Math 3, I have them create 3 master courses, 1 course per prep, so that they can build their content, they can revise their content, they can edit their content. On your dashboard, if your admin has enabled this, I have enabled it for my teachers. I have set for them some ground rules on the way that they can create some naming conventions. So you can, on your dashboard, there might be a start a new course button. And if you do that, please make sure that you create some naming convention. And typically I have my teachers do their last name, followed by master course, followed by the subject that they're creating. And then that way, that course will always live on their dashboard. It will be easy to copy, easy to edit, easy to move content over into their live courses, which is our next tip. Importing and migrating content. There are 3 ways to do this. You can either go wholesale and you can send the entire course over to another course, or you can do kind of piecemeal. You can send a module over, a page over, an assignment over, or what have you. So to do individual items, you can do a direct share and then copy to. Always best practice, just try to find or try to have that three, maybe 1 to 5 course digit number that you always see in the URL. That makes it easy to search for the courses you need to send over. But primarily, you can access in settings. You can click on settings in a course, and then you can go to import course. You can import a course. You can also export content. So if you want to export that content into a common cartridge file, then you can do that, and then you can easily import that file. So here we are, just a couple screenshots of where you can access that that information. From your home page, you'll see the top button is always import existing content. Now, you have to be in the course in which you want the content to come to. So you can import existing content, choose the course you want to import. You can see then once you click import existing content from the home page or import course content from the course settings, you'll get the image on the right. And the image on the right allows you to do a few things. You can simply copy a Canvas course, or you can import that common cartridge file that I mentioned just a few minutes ago if you're exporting that content. Choose the course you want it to go to. You can check include completed courses, so that because you may have, if you've been at this a while, you may have a laundry list of courses that you can send content to. Makes it easy to search. You can either do all content or specific content. So if you want to just selectively pull over content a module at a time or a couple modules at a time, you can select specific content. I highly recommend that you look at adjusting events and due dates, and then either shifting dates or removing dates. Because what ends up happening is if you don't check those and you import content from your previous live courses, then those dates that were in the live course will follow the copied material. And then you will automatically begin the new year with to-dos. Students will have dates that are not relevant to them. So you really want to try to shift those dates or remove those dates for the assignments themselves. You also can direct share. So if I'm here, here's my module. If I want to send this module, I can copy to, which is the direct share. I can copy it from one course to another, and that's a real nice way to kind of easily copy individual items. All right, our next tip: adding some personality to your course cards. You know, when they come over, they're defaulted to color, so you can either add a static image or you can add a GIF. I love GIFs because they create, they kind of say a lot about who I am as a teacher, and as a either my playfulness or my seriousness, or what have you. And so you can see I'm not a math teacher, but I love this GIF down at the bottom that kind of just talks about just the strenuousness of taking AP Calculus. So that kind of sends a kind of a playful vibe to your students. That's the card that they see. That's the card that parents sees as well. So to do this, you just simply go to your settings, add an image. I do use Giphy.com. I do this me personally as a teacher, but I would never send that link to my students because there is some inappropriate material access through Giphy.com. But you can download, embedded in Canvas already is one of their partnerships with Unsplash, which are free public domain images that you can use that are static. The one on the top image is a static image that I pulled from Unsplash. So easy settings, add image, you can pull from Unsplash, or if you downloaded a GIF, you can upload that image to your course card. So this is what your course cards would look like if you had GIFs. You can see 3 of which have those GIFs, and then 3 of which have static images. To me, you may love the color, right? You can easily change the color too. I'm not a big fan, me personally, Don Lursing. This is my opinion. I personally do not like the colors just because it's a little blander, right? I think these create vibrancy. They create personality. They kind of talk to you about the theme of the specific course. Um, okay, home pages. A lot of stuff happening. I see on Twitter all the time about teachers really working and really trying to be diligent in the way that they build home pages. And I think having a consistent home page is vital. I don't know if your district, I know my district really focuses upon that every from grades 4 through 12, everybody have a consistent homepage rather than having a variety of whether it be a homepage going directly to modules or whether it be a homepage going to your activity stream or what have you. Creating some consistency helps with learning navigation. It gives access, an access point to all learning. It is your first impression to your end users, because the beautiful thing about Canvas is your end users are not just your students, but your end users could be your co-teachers. Your end users are also observers, and so you want to make sure that you are creating some specific content that gives that first impression. And some of the things that we've built out with our teachers is every homepage will have a welcome message. Every homepage has a banner. Every homepage has anywhere between 3 to 6 buttons. Those buttons don't change, but teachers can brand it if they want to. And then every button, of course, has a specific icon that relates to the specific content. I did give you some design tools. I love Canva. Canva makes me look brilliant in my designs. And so I use the custom images with banners at 1200 by 300 and buttons 200 by 200. But also making sure, we're going to talk about too, one of the brilliant things about running the accessibility checker on all your content, and I think that will help making sure that you have alt texting and making sure that you are tagging those specific images to help with screen readers and things like that. But here's some examples of what a homepage might look like. All When you think about creating in Canva, you can create using some of their brilliant templates. They're all free. You can download those pieces. You can embed them into a specific page. You can make that page the front page, and then you can set that home page as your home page, or that front page as your home page. And you can see a primary elementary example on the left. You can see a secondary example on the right. Banner, welcome message, buttons. That's homepage. Very important to have that launching point for both students and parents. All right, building content and modules. I think this is probably, if I had to say, the number one thing that I really work with our teachers on is building content through modules. It is value add. A lot of times, before I took on this role in my school district, a lot of teachers were opening up on their course menu pages and assignments and quizzes. Students were accessing that content that way, and it was willy-nilly. It was really like the Wild West. And so building content modules helps you streamline. It helps you narrow focus. It helps you control course flow. You can build all your content. You can add all your content into your modules. You can check module progress to see how your students are doing, what modules they've completed, what they still have in progress. You can customize your modules and personalize with emojis, icons, and special characters. That also helps with visual cues for younger learners. Creating consistent naming conventions, that is so important. So if you organize your content by unit, by topic, by chapter, by standard, just make sure that you're building out modules with similar naming conventions so that the content is easy to access, the content flows easily and expeditiously. Chunk content with text headers, that's an important way if you got especially long, lengthy modules. Text headers help divide. Text headers help chunk. Text headers help outlined and organized. Here are some examples of what that might look like. On the left, you see a primary example where you have the emojis or the icons that kind of help give visual cues, text headers that divided up by homework, stories, activities, and then of course graded work. That just is the final, once you're done, now that everything that you've submitted, everything that you've completed now will be moving into the queue to grade. The example on the right is a science unit. You can see how the teacher used text headers, and they have consistent naming conventions, and they do it by numbering. Very powerful and very important too. When you think about having consistent naming conventions, it also helps alphabetize and organize all of that content in its respective index so that you can find your content easily, so you don't have to just keep scrolling through pages that have kind of a willy-nilly approach to naming. So anyway, building content through modules, incredibly super duper important. Now, Canvas Tool Fest. Oh my gosh, this is how excited I get. I'm so hyped up on sugar when I look at all of the brilliant things that content tools can do, that grading and feedback tools can do, and so forth. But I just wanted to highlight kind of as an overview. We're not going to have time to go into each one, but when we think about building content in modules, you have such a variety of choices, right? You can build pages, you can build assignments. And when you look at the difference between the two, pages are really is really about where students can or teachers can disseminate instruction, where they can provide teacher talk, where they can provide communication to their students. They can embed videos, they can embed digital tools. Assignments is really where you have your students, where you're assessing your students. You are creating for them an environment where you are assessing for learning. And assignments can be anything. Can be a presentation they submit, can be an essay, can be a media recording, can be an audio recording. You can also connect third-party apps like Google, Microsoft Office 365, Flipgrid. If your district is fortunate enough to have Studio, you can also create assignments that connect externally to Canvas Studio so that you can build in those engaging videos. You have two quizzing engines. You've got the native quizzing engine of classic quizzes, and then you have the external tool, new quizzes. I am a big fan of both, but I do love new quizzes because of the interactive questions that you can create, like hotspots, ordering, classification, stimulus. Man, that stuff rocks. You also have discussions. If you want to do a graded discussion or you want to build communication, you can do that. You can also add external tools and also files and also external URLs to modules as well. Some of the other content tools or some of the other tools, communication tools like announcements. I work with our teachers to turn those bland, informative announcements into something bigger. Use announcements to teach, use announcements to celebrate. And so announcements are a great way to kind of supplement and enrich the content that you're giving your kids through your module structure. Grading and feedback tools, SpeedGrader, love it. I mean, who doesn't? SpeedGrade. I mean, I was an English teacher, and so I would have loved to have SpeedGrader because you can do text comments, you can build a comment library, you can add media feedback. I would have loved that as an ELA teacher, because my hand writing those comments on paper. You can annotate comments. You can create media feedback through video and through audio. That's awesome. Also, the gradebook. Gradebook is very powerful for you to be able to provide, even to provide comments as you're grading and as you're posting grades. And SpeedGrader and Gradebook are intimately connected. What a great little marriage those two are. And then, of course, outcomes. Another way for you to kind of build. Looking at standards-based grading, you can import outcomes. You can connect outcomes to rubrics. You can align outcome questions, new quiz questions to outcomes. Just a lot of ways for you to be able to build up how students are mastering content. Data and reporting, new analytics. the bomb diggity. I wish we had time to go through there. There's so much that you can do um, with new analytics, and a lot of new pieces that are being added here, and then that are going to be released in the next couple weeks with new analytics. Just a great way for you to be able to track data and also to report. Tons of tools. Now, if this is your first time in Canvas, these tools could probably, man, freak you out and overwhelm you. My advice is that you maybe pick one or two of the content tools to start with. Maybe you decide, I want to do pages and I want to do assignments. I want to build content that where I'm teaching, where I'm instructing, where I'm engaging students, or students are interacting with content, and I want to use assignments for assessment. Start small. Think big, but start small. Canvas Tool Fest. All right, leveraging the commons. I say this probably anytime I get a chance to talk to somebody about Canvas. Almost every tool in Canvas is my favorite tool, but I sincerely love the commons. It is a repository of shared resources. Now, I would recommend, now when you share the commons, you do have the ability to license your content either through Creative Commons or whatnot. Just be mindful that anything that you do import into Commons, that it is there isn't any copyrighted material in the work that you are submitting to the Commons. But also keep in mind, please don't copyright your material in Commons, because then what's the point? Because the Commons is a place for you to really share, and you don't mind if people are using and pulling that content into their own courses. But you can easily import content, you can easily export content. So you can send to Commons and you can pull down from the Commons. You can filter by content, you can filter by grade. If your district has set up groups, my district, I have set up groups for my schools based upon their professional learning communities. So there may be 8 or 9 groups per school that teachers can be a part of and can be added to, so that they can share with their peeps in their building, with their colleagues. You can also create, I know our state has an NC consortium where we have states, schools all across the state who are sharing content, featured content. We're building those best practices, and we're sharing that with others so that they can pull that content into their own. You can also preview resources. That's a great feature, so you know what you're importing, right? Before it's kind of flying blind, and so you didn't know until you imported it, but now you can preview it. You can also send that link to a colleague. You know, the whole premise behind the Commons is to share, share, share. Here's what it looks like. If I was searching for math, I got the resources that pull up there, courses, assignments, quizzes, what have you. You can search if you want to look for just quizzes. You can search just for quizzes. If you want to search just by grade level, you can do that as well. So you can find some really good content. Now, I do caution you as well. If you search the entire Commons, which is everyone in Canvas, you got to make sure that they're going to be aligning to your state curriculum. Okay. And then you can see here, once you click on a resource, you can preview it, and then you can import it with the big blue button over there to the right, import it in any course that you have already set up to receive content. Love it. All right, economizing your course menu. This is such a best practice, because, you know, when you get a course, you got all of that content, all of those course menu links. And if you've got third-party apps that have been activated that have been kind of pushed out through your district, you could have tons more course menu links. And so it's important for you to kind of economize that. Keep it simple. For younger students, the fewer the items, the better. And that's why I love the Canvas for Elementary new dashboard, because it has fewer navigation and it gets the younger students, to the content that they need to be successful. I recommend, this is just me, I tell my teachers, modules, grades, announcements. If you have like Zoom or Microsoft Teams, maybe that is a conferencing tool, but keep it simple. You can do this in settings, navigation, and then disable. And so here's my course for my English 1 Little Cherubs. I've got eight of those course menu items plugged in. So that's important. economize. The simpler, the better. Run the link validator. Remember, turn them broken links into live links. And then run the link validator can be accessed through your settings in each course. You will need to do it per course. And I love this because it tells you where it's located and what the issue is. And so you can see here in this one course, there's 79 broken links. So that seems overwhelming, but it's worth it when it comes time for you to kind of analyze and look at what you're doing. And then finally, let's take a look, man, showing some course love, some checklist love. There are 2 checklists that I think we'll be a part of, and I'm hoping through the presentation link here that we'll be able to put these links as well. If you've got access to the presentation, you'll have them. But the beginning of course checklist, it gives some great practices for you to begin your course and end your course. And it gives you the essential foundational practices, but also the things that you can do to go over and beyond. It also provides you with Canvas guides that are connected to those specific strategies. The course design checklist, again, another brilliant thing that's produced by the instructional design team at Instructure. It gives Canvas guides. It also gives you relevance to a UDL guideline and also accessibility. So that's very important as we think about using one or both of these checklists. I think will get you ready and get you ready to rock it out of the park. This last piece here, I've created kind of another top 10 list that I've shared with my teachers as well. It includes a lot of the things that I've shared up to this point, but it also gives you some new things. And each one of these tips, you'll access it in the presentation, but each one of these tips is also linked either to a video or to a Canvas guide. Accessibility checker you see there in the middle, and then of course using rubrics. I think those are some of the 2 new ones that I didn't cover in this presentation. But with that though, as you look at all of these tips, you look at everything that we have done over the course of this short time that we have been together, you're ready to get your ninja skills on. So I hope that you took, even though it was fast and furious, I hope you're able to take something that you'll be able to apply immediately with your classes.
The Don laying the smackdown on all things Canvas. Absolutely. Twitter at DLOURCEY, our good friend Don. Thank you so much, dude, for doing this. This is fantastic. I know there was tons of comments coming in, specifically one that came up about question banks. I did, Francis, I tried to respond to you directly through YouTube and send you a link to some of our community guides for that. Although we do have, after our next course session, we do have a course assignment section that will dive in to a lot of specifics about assignments and quizzes and question banks. But in this particular case, we were just going over course basics. And Don, you hit it out of the park as always.
I appreciate it.
Not like it wasn't going to be that way.
Well, I felt like the time was like crazy quick, so I know I was speaking fast. So
yeah, this is so great. The point is that you were to watch these, rewind, go back, share them with your staff, right? For just quick hitters. And our main point is you'll see these as they get chopped up and put on social media in the next few days to kind of really enhance your learning about Canvas. Our back to school sessions are popping off all day today. We started at 8 a.m. this morning on the East Coast. We will be running till about noon East Coast time, with 5 sessions specifically dedicated to all of those folks out there going back to school. So make sure to check us out on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of the things. If you want to get with Don, find him on Twitter, a fantastic follow, always willing to share resources and to help teachers everywhere, not only in his district, but all across the world. And lots of love coming for you, Don. Thanks so much here on YouTube. Thank you from Ray here on YouTube as well, Francis as well. And then would you mind sharing access to the presentation? Don would always share access. So if he wanted to if you put those, Don, in the private chat, I can go ahead and throw those out on those channels. That way they can get access to that as well. I appreciate it. And our good friend Andrea joined us. One of our educators of the year with Canvas. Thank you so much. As always, guys, we appreciate you joining us. We will be giving you the link right now in the comment section, so stay tuned for that. As always, join us for the next session at the top of the next hour, 10 o'clock on the East Coast. Best practices for course settings. We're going to go super deep with our good friend Greg Bagby, showing you all of the things inside Canvas that'll allow you to have some success. Because I know that section specifically for course settings can be a bit overwhelming. So I can't wait to show folks kind of the tips and tricks on that as well. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one.